I really have a lot of sympathy for what you spoke about regarding Office, and I think it speaks to the concept of linkage. As technology progresses, as the individual, the entity is able to achieve more by themselves through the utilization of just everything that's becoming available to them, I see the fundamental way that we interact with this society changing. And I think one thing that COVID did was fundamentally show that you can do a lot remotely, but there are nonetheless very tangible benefits from meeting in a team. And so, one thing that I would say is I see the suburban environment, the suburban sprawl continuing. And it's because while you'll have potentially less people per square foot, maybe you have, let's say, like at Altus Group, we have an entire floor. Well, now we might just have one department per day come in and utilize a smaller footprint while still having that effective team management that you need. Would you speak a little bit more to how you see the underlying trends change while, obviously still needing office that you spoke about?
Yeah, Derek. I mean, you touched on a lot there. I do agree that I think we were starting to see maybe a little bit of a suburban movement before when you're talking about kind of getting out of the cities and whatnot. And I also there's a lot of changes going on in the country too when you talk about demographics. I think people are having less children. You can maybe talk about like the expense of that. I think housing and new housing is going to be less square footed. You have like I think of like Dallas, I think of McMansions, you have like these just urban sprawl neighborhoods with these like 3,000 square foot houses. I don't think you necessarily need that, right? I look at me and a lot of my friends, and it's kind of like, hey, one or two kids, and that might be it, right? You don't need the 5 bedroom house anymore. But to the office, yeah, I agree. I think you got to have the culture to a certain extent, right? And Derek, I'll admit I was able to work remotely, and it almost got to the point one day I remember where it was like 9:30, and I like had it all set up, had everything, and then I was like, well, I looked around and was like, well, the boss isn't really here to tell me that I need to be doing this, so my productivity levels definitely fell off. So I think another guy to look at this, is Jamie Dimon of J.P. Morgan. He is like very anti the work from home movement because, and he'll talk specifically just to productivity. So I think you've got to find a medium right here, right? I think a lot of people are finding out that they can work from home, and a lot of people maybe want to work from home, but I think a lot of people are saying, hey, my boss might be saying, look, you're not doing as much work as you were before, and I'm paying you the same amount. Maybe that has to do with your productivity, and, you're not there anymore. I know a guy who, he owned a car dealership, and he always told me you would put his desk out in the middle of the car dealership. And when he did that, as opposed to having his office in the back, everybody was doing a lot more work because they saw him, and everywhere they were, they knew he could see them. Right. So I think that kind of goes to it as well.